classification of motivation theories. In the last class, we have discussed about the motivation related concepts. In that, motivation, meaning, and the process we have discussed. So in that, three major categories of classification of motivation theories we have divided already. So there is a content motivation theories. In that, hierarchy of needs theory given by Maslow, then two-factor theory given by Herzberg, and acquired need theory, or maybe achievement need theory. These three aspects we have discussed in the previous class. Now for today's class, it is process motivation theories. In that, equity, expectancy, goal setting theory, and third category as reinforcement theory. So this many will be the for this class. So we will start with the thing. So content already we have discussed, hierarchy of need with the levels of needs here. Then two-factor theory as a maintenance and motivators as a factor. Then acquired theory as achievement, power, and affiliation related. So this is the three aspects. For this class, it is the process motivation theories. So this is the process motivation theory, focuses on understanding how a person behaves or maybe behavior to fulfill their needs, or maybe how a person perform here to based on his behavior to fulfill their needs. So first theory, if you take content, so it is just explains about the need, mainly focuses on what is need and how the need will plays a major role. But in a process, it is related to the more complex, so more complex than this content theory, because content motivation theory simply focus on identifying and understanding the people's needs. This they are focusing under,
and it's spreading like wildfire, causing havoc. Your friends and
if some disturbance is there, just mute it, all of you.
Sushan Mantaro.
Yes. So understanding the people's need here focuses on identifying and understanding the people's need, which highlights here only content theories. As the first what we have discussed, only identifying and understanding the people's need. But in the process, it is process motivation theory go additional step or a further step here, attempting to understand why people have different needs. So it will be finding out here why people have a different need, because as the name itself process, so they will be going to find out little bit more, like understand people will be having a different needs, why their needs change, and how and why people choose to try to satisfy needs in different ways. So all this it will be going to understand from these theories, the mental process people go through as they understand situations and how they evaluate their need satisfaction. So that is how the name it has given as process motivation theory, little bit elaborated and complex compared to your first style of the first division of this classification of the theories. Now under this content theory, this one process theory, there are three classifications we can find: equity theory, expectancy theory, and goal setting theory. So equity theory, it proposes that people are motivated when their perceived inputs equals output. So when they feel that what the input, so what is input and output here we have to see. So input here, their effort, experience, seniority, status, intelligence, and henceforth, if you take those called as a inputs, and output if you take, it is a praise, recognition, pay, benefits, promotions, increased status, supervisors approval, etc. to that relevant others. So when compared to equity, the name itself, so a thing that you are appointed for a particular organization, so when you go there, you feel that there should be a equality they have to maintain between the case. So what they are giving as a salary, so same designation people with the same qualification, you expect that similar salary need to be given. So that is how here this theory also proposes like input and output should be like what perceived input, like what the employees here perceive based on their inputs, whether it is equal to their output, what they give for the organization, whether they are getting a similar way a return for that, and when compared to the relevant others. So who is the relevant others here? So they could be a co-worker. Now when you are working, your colleagues with the, if you are having a what the designation which is similar, so that you feel that okay, people with the similar designation, they are getting the similar pay. So that feeling should come. So that is how your relevant other as a co-workers here, or a group of people, those who are working along with you, you feel that they are also getting the same salary. That is how equitable distribution of pay is crucial to the organization. As a leader here, he has to understand whether the employees are going to get a basic or maybe the salaries here in the form of equity as a concept. That is how this theory will be having an implication, and this can be implemented as a one aspect. Hope you are getting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the relation between input and output here. Now motivating with this theory, how it can be as a manager or maybe a leader here, what he can do, that is a manager should be aware that equity is based on perception. Like he has to think that this is a perception or perception what the employees have towards the pay or maybe any salary what they get. So that is to, which may not be correct sometime. He has to understand that because perception, it is based on a people's what thinking. So it may differ. So it is possible for a manager to create equity and inequity. So it is in the hands of managers or a leader now. They can go with creating the equity and inequity aspects in the minds of the employees. So that is how treat employees equally but in a unique way. So you have to treat them equally based on their performance, based on the qualifications what they are having. So rewards should be equitable. Again, base name itself, it indicates equity. So you what the rewards you are giving in the form of all these commissions, increments, or maybe salary or maybe compensation. All this it should be equitable. So high performance should be rewarded. So that you have to see that when you give the performance or maybe based on their performance when you measure them, so go with the high performance to identify, and that employees must understand the inputs needed to attain certain outputs. So based on that you have to categorize, like it's something extraordinary or maybe something people have contributed more to the organization, their performance needs to be measured. So this is how this equity theory will be having the importance, so that it can help the leader here to go with applying this concept so that everyone can work towards the organization, and that negative thing as an inequality will vanish from their mind. So that is the purpose here. So this is about first theory under process theory. So that is a equity theory. Second, if you take expectancy theory. So expectancy as a name again what the people expect. So that is, this theory is based on the Victor Vroom's formula. So here formula they have given for motivation. So motivation equal to expectancy into instrumentality into valence. So this is the definition it is given for a formula as a theory. So what this theory says, now expectancy theory proposes that people are motivated when they believe they can accomplish the task. They will get the reward, and the rewards for doing so are worth the effort. So this is what they expect. Now based on this theory, what it says, people will be get motivated only when their efforts are identified in the organization, when they feel that they have accomplished the task and organization has recognized it and they have given the reward for their performance. That feeling should come. So this theory is based on following assumption: both internal like needs and external environment factors affect behavior. Behavior is an individual's decision. People have different needs, desires, and goals. People make behavior decisions based on their perception. So these are some of the assumptions here based on this expectancy theory, how it works. So this is the definition, like how the expectancy theory will be indicated here. Motivation will be given in the form of a formula, that is expectancy multiplied by instrumentality and again multiplied by balance. So these three, what it is, we'll see in the next this one: expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. The term meaning here. So here three variables as usual mentioned. All three variable conditions must be met in Vroom's formula for motivation to take place. So to call it as a motivation, these three aspects should satisfy under this expectancy theory. One is expectancy should be there, instrumentality should be there, balance should be there. Then we can tell that this expectancy theory has what applied in the organization. For this, we will see what is the meaning of this. Now, expectancy theory. So, three variables. Just we'll see the meaning example here. What is expectancy? It indicates here. It refers to the person's perception of his or her ability, like probability to accomplish an objective. So, what they expect, maybe their ability here in the form of whether they are going to accomplish their objective or not. Generally, the higher one's expectancy, the better the chance for motivation. If they are having a higher expectancy or a perception towards their ability, so they will be surely going to what? There will be a more chance of getting motivated towards any work. So when employers do not believe that they can accomplish objectives, they will not be motivated to try. So that is how, as a leader here, he has to identify the ability of the people so that he can concentrate on them, so that he can identify who are the people, those who are having a high level of motivation towards the job. So that is the first aspect as a variable, expectancy. Second, as instrumentality. So it refers to the belief that the performance will result in getting the reward. So what based on their performance, if they get motivated, if they have come up with a good performance, so what is the result? Like in the form of reward, what they get. So generally, the higher one's instrumentality, the greater the chance for motivation. If you get the more reward for your job, you will be highly motivated. So that is how the instrumentality here, nothing but the reward. Reward what you expect for a particular job. Then valence as refers to the value a person places on the outcome or reward. So what that particular reward what you get, so whether how much value it will be having. Now if you feel that you want a promotion, if you are doing a job, you are in a particular organization, and if you feel that I have to get a promotion, so if you get a promotion, that will be having a valence in the sense value to your career. So that is how this is a balance will be placing a major role again. So that is how expectancy, instrumentality, and balance are the three variables which comes under the expectancy theory, which indicates your expectancy in the form of your ability to perform the job, instrumentality in the form of reward what you expect, and balance in the form of how much that reward will be giving value to you, whether it is a higher value it is giving to you or not. So that is based on that this three will be having the implication. Now we will see how this based on expectancy theory the motivation can be done. So as a leader here, he can go with clearly defined objectives. So whatever the performance you want to expect from employees, you have to give them proper direction in the form of clearly defined objectives. Then tie performance to reward. So like there should be an alignment with your performance and your rewards what you give. So based on higher performance, give a higher reward to them. So be sure rewards are of value to employees. They should feel that at least, okay, I have given with the promotion, or maybe increment has been given, or some commission I have received. So based on that, it should be little bit visible, the rewards what you give to the employees. Make sure your employees believe you will do what you say. So whatever you are telling in the organization, you have to implement it. So simply if you tell boost employees by telling all this, we will give this and that, and finally if you are not giving them, so this will be a fake information, or maybe they feel that it is not ethical what you are doing with the employees. So that is how make sure that tell them if you are performing better, we will surely give you a better pay or maybe the additional some of the benefits. So that is you have to tell them. Use the Pygmalion effect to increase the expectation. So this Pygmalion effect we have already discussed in the unit second. So this is what the expectation what the leader will be having towards the follower. So leader's expectation towards the follower, this is what the Pygmalion effect. So that to increase your expectation, you have to see that what the leader is having the implication about the particular group of his followers. So that all will be based on this here. So this motivation aspect can be fulfilled based on implementing this expectancy theory. So this is about the second theory which comes under the process theory of motivation. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the second. Now third has goal setting theory under this. So third category. So it proposes that specific difficult goals motivate people. So this is a definition it is given. So if you are having a specific, then difficult goal that motivates the people. In the sense, goal should be very clear and specific, and it is very difficult to achieve. Like maybe they should feel that it is a challenging one. If you give them very simple and routine goals to what achieve, they may not be that much excited, or they may not feel it is a challenging. So that is how make them give little bit specific goal with the difficult to little bit achieve, because they have to work on that. That is how give them little bit difficult task. So that is the definition it is given here, goal setting theory, how it is. So as a leader here, he has to again give here as a team of the followers little bit challenging tasks to perform. So how it is, they have given as an example here. So how the goal should be like 2 plus one aspect, first aspect you have to concentrate to whom it is 2 plus second one action verb you have to use in a particular what goal statement. Third as singular specific measurable results to be achieved. Plus it is for a target date. So date should be given. So as an example we will see here, we'll be having an example for this. See here, as a table we are having one example. It's not clearly audible, but I'll tell you how it is. Now, as a Toyota here, as a last example, you can see Toyota, it is, they are expanding, like action verb they are using here to expand, to expand. First as a to, you have to use PO, plus like every objective or a goal we are mentioning, like to achieve something like that, we will start. So that is how Toyota will be having a goal here in the form of to expand annual sales to 8.5 million vehicles plus by year end 2006. It is an example given. So this is how you have to frame your goals, like something the sentence wise to concentrate. It starts with the word it is to, then you can use either offer, like either achieve, or either maybe expand all this. And there should be a something specific for measurable terms. It should be like annual sales to 8.5 million vehicles to sell. All this there what particular goal. But the year they have mentioned 2006. Why the year ending 2006? Because some target dates need to be given. Otherwise, what happens if there is no deadline? People may not be knowing what to achieve and when it can be achieved. So that is how deadline in the form of target need to be given. So that is the thing here to concentrate. So criteria as a how to write these objectives or goals. That is an example it is mentioned here. Now as a criteria now, so criteria for objective setting here, either singular, your singular or maybe one objective can be, then it should be specific, then it should be measurable, and target date need to be. So other criteria it is difficult but achievable, participatively set, then commitment. So these many criteria need to be concentrated here. Like it should be a singular one sentence, what we have given as a Toyota's example just now, to achieve here around 8.5 millions of vehicles to be manufactured in the year or to be sold in the year for 2006. So that is a sentence what they have mentioned. So that is how you have to go with framing your objectives. So criteria for objective here, either it should be singular, specific, measurable, and target date. So other you have to concentrate, difficult but achievable, participatively set in the form of groups, teams you have to concentrate, then commitment should be there from all the followers of the team members, those who are there. So now little bit more related to this. Okay, criteria. Then example we have seen. Okay, so that is what related to the goal theory. Now explanation it is there in the notes. Here I have put only the points here under goal setting theory. What it proposes the specific difficult goals that motivates the employee. So that is how he has to go with framing the, or the leader has to frame here the objective in such a way that it should be what? Singular, it should be specific, it should be measurable, and some target date need to be given and it need to be completed, a particular objective. So along with that, he has to concentrate the little bit achievable goals, little bit difficult with achievable goals. Then he has to concentrate on the teamwork to be what formed in between the followers. Then commitment should be he has to maintain among them. So that is the aspect to be considered under this. So this is the concept which comes under the process motivation theory. So the three aspects: equity theory, expectancy theory, and goal setting theory. Hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now last one left, that is we'll finish off this one for a last, that is reinforcement. Last third category, first one as a content theory, second one as process theory, third one as a reinforcement theory. So this is for the third last category under the motivation theory. So this theory proposes that through the consequences for behavior, people will be motivated to behave in a predetermined way. So this is reinforcement is something, the positive thing, or maybe what you expect. Now, if you purchase any product, so if everyone gives a positive what response towards that, think that people have given a positive response, okay, your product is good, all this, so that will give a reinforcement to you that you'll be going to purchase again the same products or maybe the brand. So this is what something, a positive thing, or the consequences what the people expects. Maybe if they get a more positive things for a particular any actions what they have done, it need not be only the products, or if sometimes a employee might have performed very well, so if we get a appreciation for his achievement, all this, so that will act as a reinforcement for him for his next step to take. So whenever he go with another task to take, he feels that okay, I can go through it because I have got reinforcement, as I have got a positive or maybe appreciation for my present task. So that is the feeling here. So that is how consequences for behavior, people will be motivated to behave in predetermined way. So that is predetermined already, they will be ready with that, they feel that okay, I can go for this. So this is the thing. So component of the theory here: stimulus, responding to the behavior, consequences of behavior. So something stimulus in the form of motivation should be required, whether I can go for this or not. So that should be required, and responding to the behavior, you have to go with taking the what particular task, respond to a particular task to accept or to perform. Then finally you will be going to analyze consequences of the behavior. What is the effect? Consequences here may be positive or negative, what effect you are getting for that. So that you are going to get here. So there is now types we will see here based on the textbook information. Okay, so it is visible already. Components of reinforcement theory: reinforcement, your responding behavior and consequence. Now types of reinforcement here, there are two types. There are four types they have mentioned, four types of reinforcement. One is a positive reinforcement, second is avoidance, third is extinction, and punishment. So these are the four types of the reinforcement. We can see one by one. First one as positive here. So positive, it is a method of encouraging continued behavior. So is to offer attractive consequences in the form of rewards for desirable performance. Already I have mentioned there may be a positive reinforcement. Example you can take: an employee is on time for a meeting and is rewarded by the manager thanking him or her. So this is what happens if you are coming on time to a meeting. So this will be a positive reinforcement, like everyone will appreciate your time management, what you have maintained for a particular task. So that will be one of the ways to reward or consequences here in the form of you are getting positive reward for your task. So that is how if your punctuality, if it is recognized, so that will be a positive reinforcement. If you take for avoidance as a second, so negative. So it is avoidance, it is nothing but negative reinforcement. So here example, same example you can take, like an employee is punctual for a meeting to avoid the negative consequences. Such like rules are designed to get employees to avoid certain behaviors. Now something rule it is that the employees need to maintain this punctuality in the meeting. So to avoidance reinforcement, what happens? You know that if you reach a meeting late or if you attend the meeting late, you will be recognized. Like you'll be given a warning that like you are late to the meeting. So, but you don't want to take these kinds of what negative things, so you will go avoid it. Like you will try to reach on time. So that is the punctuality you are going to maintain. There is the avoidance reinforcement here to reduce the negative reinforcement. Third as extinction. Now extinction, it is as an example, an employee who is late for a meeting is not rewarded with the praise. Now if the employee comes or because maybe some problem or he may not able to make it for a meeting on time. So what happens there? So he will be recognized as latecomer and he is not awarded with any praise. So they will not get any praise for a meeting. They just think that okay, he has come at least, but he has not maintained that time management. So that is how here extension they are maintaining. They are not recognizing. They are not giving any reward to him. So this is the third type of reinforcement. And finally, fourth one, it is a punishment. Right? An employee who is late for a meeting is reprimanded. So like maybe they are telling that they are giving him a warning, or maybe they're giving him a punishment. That notice that with avoidance there is no actual punishment, it is a threat of punishment that controls behavior. So they are giving the threat to him in the form of, they can tell them, they can harass them, taking away privileges, probation period if he is having, we can what make them not to go with that probationary period, and fine they can do, they can collect a fine in the form of punishment, demotivating him, or maybe demoting him from a firing. All this can be done in the form of punishment. So that is how reinforcement theory, it focuses. There are four types of what the reinforcement, it can be done either in a positive way, either avoidance or like negative way it can be, or maybe extinction wise, or maybe finally they can go with the punishment to give. So there is the four aspects which comes under this. Now, as a schedule of reinforcement, so it is a types here. If you observe in a slide, I have put already. So types of reinforcement, that is a four type. Then it comes schedules of reinforcement. This is the last concept for today's class. So this is okay. Now schedules of reinforcement. So here schedules in the sense timing. So continuous and intermittent. Two broadly classified as continuous reinforcement and intermittent reinforcement. So with the continuous method, each and every desired behavior is reinforced. Example of this method would be a machine with an automatic counter that lets the employee know at any given moment exactly how many units have been produced. So that is how they will be going to measure here based on the continuous. Like daily they might be giving you this many products or maybe targets to reach. So that is based on your continuous performance here. Will be going to measure. That is the schedule here will be intermittent. It is with the intermittent reinforcement, the reward is given based on the passage of time or output. It is based on name itself. Intermittent means something intervals they are going to give, either maybe based on time or maybe the output. When the reward is based on passage of time, it is called as intervals schedule. When it is based on output, it is called of ratio schedule. So that is how under intermittent, there are four categories they have divided based on time and output. So based on a time, it is fixed interval schedule and variable interval schedule. Based on output, it is fixed ratio and variable ratio. So this is a four category. Now fixed internal schedule, it is giving a salary paycheck every week, breaks and meals at the same time every day. So it is fixed time. Maybe your schedule will be a fixed one. So giving your pay will be in a week, breaks will be in the same time, your meals will be served in the same time. So that is a daily schedule what they maintain. That is under a fixed interval schedule. Variable, it is giving a praise only now and then, a surprise inspections or a pop quiz. So maybe they are, it is a name itself variable. Variable in the sense there is no fixed schedule. They can go anyhow based on their some schedule they can maintain. It may be variable. So based on our output here now, fixed ratio schedule. So this is based on the output. So ratio wise they are going to give. First two category, it comes under the time. So second two category, that is fixed ratio schedule and variable ratio schedule. This is related to the your ratio wise. So that is output wise, giving a piece rate or bonus after producing a standard rate. So in that fixed this one, they are going to give a bonus in the form of your output. Based on output, how much you have produced, they are going to give you the additional bonus in the form of fixed rate. So variable ratio, it is again giving prize for excellent work or lottery for employees who have not been absent for the set time. So maybe they can go with variable based on the output what they produce. They can give a raise in the what raise for a excellent work. Appreciation can be given, or any additional in the form of a lottery to the employees, in the form of some additional benefit can also be given for a time because it is a variable. So that is how two types here. the continuous reinforcement and intermittent reinforcement. And intermittent reinforcement can be again classified based on the time and output. And finally, it is now how based on this reinforcement theory we can go with okay, so motivating with the employees, how it can be done through the reinforcement. There are 7 points are there. I'll quickly read out this. So first one, it is make sure employees know exactly what is expected of them. So set a clear objective. So for motivating them, make a clear objective so that they should know what they expect, what they are expecting, or maybe what organization is expects from them. So select appropriate rewards for a particular task. Reward to one person could be